Welcome to the channel. Today I got an interesting story for y'all about Facebook, also known as Meta. What's going on now is all of a sudden now Zuckerberg is going to end the fact checking. And if you know the fact checking, when they started that a few years ago, it just screwed a lot of stuff up with Facebook. Facebook users dropped. Everybody went over more to Instagrams and the new TikTok when it was coming around, and other platforms that were still established out there, like the Twitter's now called X. Well, it's very interesting, and now this story comes out at the same time that the government's trying to ban TikTok. And one of the biggest reasons I believe they're trying to ban TikTok is because it's free speech over at TikTok. The only issues you're gonna have at TikTok pretty much is if you post copyrighted material, say some music files, they got to deal with whatever publishing companies to have these songs played on the TikTok platform. So sometimes they'll turn the music off, saying, well, we don't have an agreement with this artist, such and such like that. But if you post health, you flat earth, you know, um, life science, you know, things of that nature, everything is considered controversial, like Antarctica, things of that nature, Admiral Byrd, it's available on TikTok. TikTok right now is my number one platform because of all the truth. It's like Facebook used to be before the free speech, strike was put into effect where they wanted to limit free speech, take away your First Amendment. It's bad enough they got the cops beating it out you, scaring it out you, blasting it out you. You can't even talk about it on social media. So they came around with these fact checkers, which is a big problem. It was basically moderating what a person can say. Because you can say that something that's a true fact, the fact checker turn it around and say it's false. And then all of a sudden you got strikes on your profile. You can't post. I got a video I'm going to show you because what I did a few years ago, I went through and I blocked all the fact checkers. Every time I kept getting fact checked, I started blocking the fact checkers until I just got tired and stopped using Facebook for a while and went over to the other platforms. Um, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a screen share in a couple days, and I'm just gonna show you my block list, and you're gonna see all these fact checkers. It's crazy, and to know that they got millions of fact checkers out here controlling speech. That way, the narrative can be whatever they want the narrative to be. But before we go any further, I'm gonna have you check this article out. Um, that was dropped today, and like I said, they're trying to compete to take over where TikTok spot at because if TikTok doesn't sell the Chinese ownership, America's gonna try to shut them down. Which I think, TikTok need to be around, but I think once these Americans they want to get a hold of it for it to be used in America, they're gonna go right back to the free speech deal that Zuckerberg is talking about here. Look how Zuckerberg flip-flops. But check this story out and pay attention to what he says about the current election. These guys are just going to flip-flop. It's going to be no fact checking today. We're going to come back 2028, 2029. Fact checking on steroids is going to be back. That's how they do. It's the overlay for the underlay. They act like they're doing something good, giving it to you so they can get rid of the foreign competition and then turn around. Oh, now Facebook, Instagram, which is the same, they number one over here. That's all you can use. You can't even have it on none of the cloud services over in America. It's all blocked. But everybody else in the rest of the world going to be able to use TikTok. But take a listen to this. Take a listen to this.
Fact-checking and removing restrictions on speech across Facebook and Instagram, a move Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg said was an attempt to restore free expression on its platforms. We're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms, Zuckerberg said in a video Tuesday. More specifically, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. The pivot comes as Zuckerberg has looked to build ties with the incoming Trump administration. The day before Thanksgiving, the billionaire CEO dined with the president-elect on a patio at Trump's private Mar-a-Lago club. Meta has since donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Last week, the company installed a former aide to President George W. Bush, Joel Kaplan, as global policy chief executive, further boosting its Republican ties. Kaplan has been with Meta since 2011 and served as its conduit to Republicans in Washington and the broader conservative ecosystem. The company on Monday said UFC President Dana White, a staunch supporter and ally of Trump, would be among 3 new members of its board of directors. Other companies and tech leaders have been cozying up to the incoming administration. Amazon.com and Uber Technologies, as well as OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, have announced similar donations to the president-elect's inaugural fund. Meta's decision to remove restrictions on certain types of speech echoes the approach taken by Elon Musk after he bought X, then called Twitter, in 2022. Musk, who has become the CEO closest to Trump and was a top financial backer during the campaign, has long pushed to promote free speech. Musk has criticized Zuckerberg's platforms for removing content seen to violate its community standards. In December, he reposted a post accusing Meta's platforms of censoring conservative voices. Speaking about Meta's attempts to weed out damaging or dangerous content that violates its policies and puts users at risk, Zuckerberg said it had gone too far. "We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship," he said. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
You hear it? What was just stated. The recent elections. Did you hear what was just stated? The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So are you telling me that the First Amendment, free speech wasn't prioritized beforehand? Are you admitting it? So what type of speech were we using before? To where now we able to use our free speech. What's up with this Constitution stuff? Do we got a right to free speech or do we don't? Or is it because it's, corporate owned, we have to do what the corporation want because a policy is not a law and every company can set up a policy. I have my own companies and I have my own policies and my policies may not fit in line with other companies' policies. But I just wanted you guys to take a look at that one point of how I said earlier they're gonna flip-flop this. So this is what they're gonna use to pump Facebook back over TikTok and get those people back over to Facebook once these guys eliminate TikTok, which I think is gonna wind up being pushed out of the US. We'll carry on.
Zuckerberg directly referenced Trump several times in the video, criticizing the legacy media for their coverage of his first term in office. He also said that fact-checkers had become too politically biased. The company also announced it would be relocating what it calls the trust and safety teams responsible for writing policy and reviewing content from California to Texas and other U.S. locations. Meta implemented its third-party fact-checking function after the 2016 election in what it has said are efforts to restrict misinformation and the spread of false news on its platforms. In 2019, the company drew the ire of some employees when it said it wouldn't fact-check paid-for advertising by political candidates. Free speech and paid speech are not the same thing, the employees said in an open letter to Facebook in October 2019. They argued that exempting candidates' ads from fact-checking allows politicians to weaponize our platform by targeting people who believe that content posted by political figures is trustworthy. In response to the letter, the company said it welcomed internal debate and criticism of its policies. "We remain committed to not censoring political speech, and will continue exploring additional steps we can take to bring increased transparency to political ads," said spokeswoman Bertie Thompson.
All right. In response to the letter, so they only really made an issue because someone else made an issue. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the employees made an issue, and that was 4 years ago, going on 5 years now, and it could be an issue that's constantly brewing and brewing. They want to get in front of it before the actual media really picks up on it and do an actual story on it. So that was just something real interesting. And hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this guy, Mark Zuckerberg? Now all of a sudden want to end fact checking on Facebook. Let me know how fact checking affected you on Facebook. I know it affected me so much I actually stopped using it. I mean, I use it now every now and then. You can go over to Min El Shalom. I post a lot of music on there, music that I like, you know, some pictures, cars, things that I'm into. I don't post much over there because you post something that you like, you post the wrong car, the fact check probably say, is incorrect. Or something like that, or it's to the point to where you post a video and somebody else, something you shared, or you guys send me videos all the time. I know I have to go through the TikTok and Instagram. Some of you guys I purposely hadn't opened your links yet, so I know I to come back to it because you got so many links on there of things you want me to show, um, and speak on. But this year I'm gonna try to get more and more into it. It's just I got a lot of stuff going on, so I try to get to these as I can. But the more and more I'm looking at some of these videos, it's more and more I can't keep my mouth shut, you know, and we're gonna take it from there. So let me know what y'all think about Facebook trying to get back to be the number one social media platform and in the fact checking. Will it make things worse? Will it make things better? I already don't trust the media. I get most of my information from a social media site. And when then I turn around and I fact check it again. And then I do more research just to make sure because a lot of the things that I heard, I would have never heard of on Facebook if it wasn't for a site like a TikTok or Instagram to some degree, because they're only gonna do so much. But hey, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, join the conversation, and we're gonna take it from there. Y'all have a good one. We're gonna catch you on the next one. Peace. Subscribe.